This is part 3 of my testimony. Well, okay, I was talking about in part 2 about that I was stealing people left and right. I was also hurting people. For some reason, I always wanted it. I liked hurting people. I go around with my friends and in another friend's car. It was like 3 or 4 of us, and I didn't care what it was, whether if it was a fight 1-on-1 or 3-on-1. I wanted to make someone suffer. I wanted to physically damage that person. We would go around nighttime from like 11, 12, 1, even 2, or wherever we found on the street by ourselves, or even with with someone with them. I remember I used to use golf gloves, pipes, airsoft guns. I had knives also, bats, wooden, metal. I used my fist. I used to just hurt people for fun. It started off as I wanted to, hurt them and take their wallets and their valuables, all the stuff they had with them. And then sometimes it would be like I would hurt somebody and they wouldn't have nothing to give me. Like I would literally have them empty out their pockets and everything they had on them, and they wouldn't have nothing. And it would make me happy. And my friends would be like, "Oh, it was a waste of time." But to me, it was just like, it was like a gift to myself, because just to see someone like in fear and to fear me, I felt like I was superior. I don't know how should I say, but I felt like I had power. I had people, almost bowing down to me, and it made me so happy. I just wanted to go on, hurt people, just to hurt people, to make a name for myself. But I didn't really make a name for myself. It's just I don't know why I did it, but I feel bad because I hurt people, and I stole even from females, and I've seen people cry. I robbed stores, held up stores. I'm not gonna say which ones, but yeah, I've held up stores in different cities. I did a lot of damage. That's all I can say. But I was just like, the thing, I always had fear. Even though I did that, I always had fear that one day I was gonna go to prison. And I should be in prison. I should have been in prison. I thank God right now still, again, that I didn't get caught for all the things that I did do. And one thing that that I was just telling myself that there was no God. I was trying to make myself an atheist for some reason. I kept telling everybody, whoever said the word God, I was just like, there is no God, or said I was a fool. Just put it that way. I was a fool for saying that. And I always tell people, if there is a God, I'm an antichrist. I would always say that, and I would even tell my mom, I don't believe in God and this and this. You guys are just, all that make believe. But every time the more I said that, the more, my life was getting worse. I started losing friends, and because I always wanted to do something, evil. I wanted to just, make a group of people to go out and just go hurt people and steal people just for fun. Almost like a gang, I'd say, but, no rules, just go hurt people, go do whatever it takes to make people, suffer and be in misery and bitterness. But, I remember that sometimes I would get drunk, and for some reason, I would be by myself sometimes when I get drunk, because I would drink whether I'm alone with somebody. Alcohol was alcohol. It was like a medicine to me. I remember sometimes it was weird that I would be drunk and I feel like I'm sleeping, but at the same time I'm awake. I would just see myself preaching, and I was just thinking what is this? I didn't know what it was. I was so in shock that I was I was dreaming of me preaching. It was amazing, and I wanted that vision to happen. But at the same time, I was like, that's not real. That's just a dream. It's not really doesn't mean anything. And it was coming to a point when I was 18, I would have dreams of the rapture of me, because my mom always taught me about the rapture. And I would have dreams of me staying and crying in my dream. I would wake up crying and screaming. No one would hear me. Right when I turned 19, I moved to Lake Elsinore, California, I went to a couple of times to church in Lake Elsinore, and that, I mean, even though at that time I didn't want to admit it, but it was one of the best churches I've ever been in my life. You know, the Pastor Phil Sines, my pastor right now. He, I mean, his preaching's kind of opened me up, like my flesh, like letting my soul breathe. But at the same time, I was keeping myself back from God. Not till I had my wake up call when I was I had my DUI, my first DUI last year in February 2011. But I had my DUI, and then my mom, was mad at me, and I let low a little bit from my alcohol. But when I came back to it even worse. I couldn't stop drinking. I was spending so much money. I was spending like almost $200 to $300 in alcohol and cigarettes a month, maybe $350 in all of that. I was buying weed left to right too. And I was never sober. I was going to work, hungover, and I got out of work. I was drinking till it was I'd say about in September when I actually had my real wake up call. September around the third or fourth week. No, I said like the third week. That was my big wake up call. It was I remember I used to work out, and I took this energy powder thing, and every scoop was like 3 to 4 hours, I think. So I took 3 scoops, and it lasted like, I was feeling the energy. I was, going to the gym. I remember I was at the gym and I was feeling all pumped up. I couldn't, stop shaking, and I was shaking, but I didn't pay no mind because I was working out. I was lifting quick and I was running. I didn't realize it till I was halfway to work. After that, I went to work, I started feeling this tingling thing on my face, and it was weird. It was just like something was kind of moving my face. I was just trying to touch my face, and I don't know what it was. I was feeling like all these little tingling things around my body. I was feeling hot. Like when I got like a block away from my job, I felt my heart beat so hard. I mean, it felt fast, but it felt hard at the same time. It was something I never felt it. When I got to the parking lot, I got out of my car and I wasn't feeling good. Luckily, two of my coworkers were there. They're like, "Hey man, you don't look good. What's wrong?" And I was telling them, "Man, I felt my heart beat so fast." And they called up my boss. My boss came outside and was keeping me company while my mom came, because I was calling my mom. My mom was on her way to pick me up. And I know she was in the area, but it only took like 20 to 30 minutes to get there. But it felt like 25 minutes. Those 25 minutes felt like it was like 3 hours. Those longest 25 minutes of my life, because I started sweating so hard. My palms were sweating. Like I dipped my hands into a bucket of water. I felt like my whole vision was turning like light. The colors seemed like they were fading. I couldn't really hear people talking. I could just hear my boss telling me, you shouldn't be taking this and this. And in my mind, I was making a prayer. I was just like, man, I was like, God, this is the time that I need you the most. And I was so sad. I wanted to cry, and I think I did cry. I'm pretty sure, because I was holding in my tears. I remember that this is the first time in my life I ever thought in my life that I had a chance to die. I mean, I pictured myself thinking, or I said to myself that, one day I'm gonna die, but it was crazy because I was standing up. I couldn't move. I remember my body was kind of like shutting down. I couldn't really speak till like when I was trying to lift my left arm, my hand kind of like curled down like this, and it was like I couldn't really explain it to you, but it was kind of like stuck. I couldn't move my left hand, and I just felt like this pain in my left arm, this weird feeling, and my heart was just beating so fast, and I was just like my voice was disappearing. And once my voice was disappearing, it was crazy because I felt something just grab my lips, and my jaw just kind of like my jaw just froze, and I felt like I was like more scared. My other two bosses came outside and they were like, "Whoa, man, you might need an ambulance." And I was just praying. I was just, "Please, God, I'm sorry," just apologizing. And when I was apologizing, my heart was just beating even harder. I was just like, "God, if you're gonna take me, please just give me a chance to just, to repent, to get a second chance." And that's the end of part 2. We'll be back right now, part 3.